is on.
Okay. I have a red light, so. Okay, this is the July 22nd, 2024 special meeting of the Medical Marijuana Commission, City of Pontiac, in the Pontiac City Hall, City Council chambers. It is now 6:12 according to my clock, 6:12 p.m., and I officially call this meeting to order. I'd like to have Secretary Peratt please call the roll.
Ford.
Present.
Maley.
Present.
Turpin.
Present.
Porath. Present.
Okay. We have a quorum. And as far as amendments to the agenda, I would like to move public comment to after item number 2. Commission appointment. So if I can get a move and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and supported. And second, roll call.
Maley.
Yes.
Prath.
Yes.
Turpin.
Yes.
Ford.
Yes. Okay, as far as approval of agenda, I need a move and a second to approve the amended agenda.
Move.
A second.
Okay, it's been moved and second. Roll call.
Prath.
Yes.
Turpin.
Yes.
Ford.
Yes.
Maley.
Yes.
Okay. Approval of minutes from September 7th, 2023. I need a move and a second to approve the minutes.
Move to approve the minutes.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and second. Roll call.
Turpin.
Yes.
Ford.
Yes.
Maley.
Yes.
Prath.
Yes.
Okay. That was item number 1. This item number 2 is communications, and we have a commission appointment. Unfortunately, we lost one of our esteemed commissioners, Mr. Paul Wilson. He fortunately passed away in December of 2023. Needless to say, it saddens us to hear about that. He was a good man. Enjoyed working with him. However, in his stead, Mayor Grammel has approved a capable fill-in, somebody that I'm well aware of, know of her public service in this city, and that is in the person of Carol Turpin. Mayor Grammel has appointed her to fill the vacancy, so we welcome her. Is there anything from the city side that we need to know about as far as an appointment? Are we good? Okay. All right. So welcome aboard, Ms. Turpin.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Having said that, Mr. Turpin, Mr. Wilson was serving as the vice chairperson at the time. So in his absence, we're going to need to select a new vice chair. So are there any nominations for the vice chair position?
I would like to nominate Commissioner Turpin.
Okay.
I second that nomination.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? Okay, hearing none others. I have a move and a support for the appointment of Carol Turpin as the new vice chair of the Medical Marijuana Commission. Roll call.
Ford.
Yes.
Maley.
Yes.
Prath.
Yes.
Turpin.
Yes.
And I apologize because I went out of order with our agenda item. So we're supposed to have public comment after item number 2. So if I can get a move and support to address that item now before we move on to item number 4, if I can get a move and support.
Move for public comment.
Support.
Okay, been moved and supported. Roll call.
Maley,
Yes.
Prath,
Yes.
Turpin,
Yes.
Ford.
Yes. Okay, at this time, if there's anyone here for public comment, you have a 3-minute time limit. And
See if one of
just state your name and then you can begin speaking.
this is microphone.
If you can, check to see if that microphone is ready.
I need to push the battery
Plug in, push in the battery.
Okay, we'll allow it to, we'll give it time before you make your comments to, no, we'll wait. Yeah. The reason why the meetings are being recorded, so.
All right, is that working? Yes. All right, there we go. All right. Thank you, Commissioners. My name is Alan Shamoon, and I represent 3967 Euclid LLC. It was myself and Ms. Garmo here did the application and know it very well. Thank you first for having this meeting, and it's been a long time coming, so appreciate the opportunity to address you guys now at this time. There's 2 issues before you as far as the application is concerned. The first issue is regarding 1 point for the 1 point out of 2 for the sanitation plan. This issue has been litigated by other applicants, so we, in my opinion, have met all the standards that's required to receive that extra 1 point. I would hate to see that be litigated further. So I do think we're in, as our brief has stated, deserving of that extra 1 point. The other issue, and I'm Ms. Turpin, for being new to the commission, may have or may not be up to speed on some of the other arguments that have been received based on the zoning requirement and the requirement for there being a survey done by a licensed surveyor. The one thing I do want to address this commission on, and it is briefed, so I don't want to go too in depth about it, is that the materials that were presented to all the applicants prior to the application window closing is not what has been, in my opinion, represented in the briefs and in legal arguments. For example, this scoring sheet that tells you exactly what needs to be done and presented was never provided to the applicants until the application was completed and then nearly a year later. I say that because the ordinance, which lays out by, as approved by City Council and specifies exactly what needs to be in the application, has different parameters than what the actual application checklist has. And so an applicant would not know, so to speak, as to what requirements are needed and not needed. If they follow what the ordinance says, they would think they get all the points, yet the checklist here as produced by the clerk's office had separate requirements that were not spelled out in the application itself or in the ordinance itself. So that's the one thing I do want to make sure I get on the record, is that the information provided in our complete application meets all the qualifications and criteria in the ordinance, and not necessarily this checklist, which was not provided to applicants until after their scores were provided on the application. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else here who wants to speak? Public comment? Hearing none, we'll close public comment and move on to item number 4, which is a discussion on the 3967 Euclid LLC appeal as far as the Walton Boulevard Overlay District Provisioning Center. Are there any comments from any of the commissioners?
I do have a question. Oh, I'm sorry. The ordinance versus the application, can someone clarify that for me? Is he saying that the language is different? I'm a little confused. I'm not quite understanding what his complaint is. Can someone help me out with that?
Can I address that for the city? The ordinance itself did not state that the scale diagram had to be prepared by a licensed surveyor, but the ordinance gave the clerk authority to develop a scoring criteria, and the clerk developed a scoring guide based on that authority granted to him under the ordinance, and that was part of the application and the scoring criteria guide, which I would assert was provided to all applicants before they submitted their application. I don't know if Mr. Shamoon was referring to the scoring form, but that probably wasn't provided. But the applicants did have the guide and the application, which required the scale diagram to be signed by a licensed professional surveyor. And we've litigated that issue 3 times in the Oakland County Circuit Court. Each of the 3 courts have upheld that.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Turpin, does that complete your comments?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay,
That's
okay.
thank you.
That's
yes.
okay. All right, any other comments?
I have none.
Okay.
None here.
Okay. As far as me, I looked at all of the information provided. I did go back and look at the application itself, and I did as far as the scoring on the requirement of providing a contractor and the just a second here. Yeah, as far as there being no sanitation contract required for a facility, there was a ruling by a circuit court judge that didn't have to have a sanitation contract in advance, and that it was litigated, and judge ruled that additional points were awarded in previous claims. So I'm good with the, by law, by court ruling, the addition of a point is binding. Then, as far as regards to the lack of a signed site plan by a licensed contract, surveyor, thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. By a licensed surveyor. What I found interesting was that, as was provided in the recommendation from the city attorney's office, is that there has been litigated prior, and that there has been no objection to or rulings against that not having the sign was or that not having one signed by a licensed surveyor, that it led to the awarding of any additional points. So, plus I found that in the hearings, the applicant admitted that they didn't have it signed by a licensed surveyor. So I'm good with my investigation of the matter, as well as I'm good with the hearing officer's finding, as well as the recommendation by the city attorney's office on behalf of the city. So I'm good with awarding 1 point, but as far as awarding any additional points, that I'm not in favor of. Okay. So, hearing nothing, if there are no other comments. Go ahead,
I-
Ms. Turpin.
I just want to acknowledge that I did read the documents, and I do have an understanding of what has transpired prior to this, but I just needed clarity on that particular point that the gentleman made. Okay, thank you.
Very good, thank you. Okay, any other comments? Hearing none. What I'll do is I'll read the resolution, and at the end, I will seek a move and a second to approve the resolution, and we'll see how the commissioners respond. This is a resolution of the Pontiac Medical Marijuana Commission, application WB-110, a resolution on 3967 Euclid's LLC's appeal of the clerk's scoring of its application for a medical marijuana provisioning center conditional permit. Whereas Ordinance 2357B gives the city clerk the responsibility to score and rank applications for medical marijuana provisioning centers using a 130-point scoring system and awarding permits to the 20 highest scoring applicants. And whereas the City of Pontiac adopted Ordinance 2363 to include medical marijuana facility uses in designated overlay districts, and Section 2.546 Medical Marijuana Provisioning Center, Section F on licensing states that no more than 5 provisioning centers shall be established in the Walton Boulevard Overlay District. And whereas the city clerk ranked and scored provisioning center applications by district using the 130-point scoring system, and whereas 3967 Euclid LLC filed its application for a provisioning center permit in the Walton Boulevard Overlay District on January 24, 2020, and whereas the city clerk originally awarded 3967 Euclid LLC's application a score of 117 out of 130 possible points with a ranking of second in the Walton Boulevard Overlay District, and whereas the city clerk adopted the findings of Jill Baum, a planning advisor, and Eric Peach, that name is spelled Pietschch, a senior planner who reviewed Section 8C19 and awarded 4 of 8 points in the facility planning section, finding that the scale diagram / site plan submitted was not signed and sealed by a licensed professional surveyor, and who reviewed Section 8C21 and awarded 1 of 2 points in the facility sanitation section finding that the applicant does not provide a contract or agreement with a service provider for waste disposal and treatment. And whereas whereas Euclid 3967 LLC appealed the decision to the hearing officer, and whereas on January 28, 2022, the hearing officer recommended 8 additional points be awarded to 3967 Euclid LLC, 1 for background information, marijuana regulations category, and 5 points in the background in information, financial background category, and 2 points in the background information, community development, raising 3967 Euclid's revised score to a total of 125 out of 130, ranking 3967 Euclid LLC third for the provisioning center applicants. And whereas the hearing officer concluded that the city clerk's scoring of Section 8C19 and 8C21 was not arbitrary and capricious and did not award any points in these 2 categories, and whereas the hearing officer, Chelsea N. Leonard, made this finding regarding the scale diagram requirement for Section 8C19, the score form states that the applicant did not provide a site plan / scale diagram of the property signed and sealed by a licensed professional surveyor. Applicant acknowledges that the site plans were not signed and sealed, but argues that this defect is a quote-unquote diminutive detail, and that all of the other important information required was provided. Thus, they should receive full points anyways. The hearing officer is unpersuaded. The application instructions clearly state that the quote, scale diagram must be in the form of a property survey prepared by a licensed professional surveyor, end quote. Applicant did not follow the instructions. Thus, hearing officer finds that the city clerk's score of 4 points in this category was not arbitrary or capricious, and recommends that the city clerk's decision with respect to this subcategory be affirmed. And whereas the hearing officer, Chelsea N. Leonard, made this finding regarding sanitation under Section 8C21, quote, both the scoring form and the scoring criteria guide were made available to applicants prior to submission of their applications. Contracts with service providers for waste disposal and treatment was listed under the facilities sanitation category on both documents. This information was not provided in applicants' application materials for this subsection. Applicants' argument that it is impossible to enter into a contract because they do not have a start date as to when the contract will begin is unpersuasive. Applicant could have easily provided a proposed contract or even a letter of intent. Nothing in the ordinance or scoring criteria guide required the contract to be, Nothing in the ordinance or scoring criteria guide required the contract be fully executed. Thus, the hearing officer does not find that the city clerk's score of 1 point to be arbitrary or capricious. The hearing officer recommends that the city clerk's decision with respect to this subcategory be affirmed, close quote. And whereas as other applicants were rescored as part of the administrative appeal process as ordered by the Oakland County Circuit Courts on Appeals, the ranking of 3967 Euclid LLC fell from 3rd to 4th, then subsequently from 4th to 5th, and then finally from 5th to 6th. And whereas in this appeal, 3967 Euclid LLC seeks 4 points in the facility planning over the issue of not having their scale diagram signed and sealed by a licensed surveyor, and 1 point in facility sanitation over the issue of not providing a contract or agreement with a service provider for waste disposal and treatment. And whereas the commission finds that the clerk and his staff and consultants conducted a rigorous, extensive review and scoring process, and whereas the Oakland County Circuit Courts in 3 cases have upheld prior decisions of this commission's finding that not awarding applicants 4 points for failing to submit a scale diagram signed and sealed by a licensed surveyor is authorized by law and supported by competent material and substantial evidence, and whereas the commission has reviewed Section 8C19 of the application over the absence of a scale diagram by a licensed surveyor and denies the appeal and requests for 4 more points, finding that the clerk's adoption of the hearing officer's recommendation related to Section 8C19, the facility planning / scale diagram, was authorized by law and supported by competent material and substantial evidence. And whereas in Oakland County Circuit Court in the prior MPM-R9 LLC case reversed this commission's decision and held that in the Section 8C21 subcategory, the ordinance does not require a sanitation contract, and found in similar cases in a different overlay district that the city has awarded 2 points to an applicant who provided a sanitation plan but not a sanitation contract. And in the MPM-R9 LLC remand hearing, this commission resolved to award that applicant an additional 1 point. And whereas the facts of 3967 Euclid LLC's application for Section 8C21 sanitation plan subcategory are materially the same as the MPM case, and the legal question has previously been decided by the Oakland County Circuit Court, and this commission and the commission awards 1 point to 3967 Euclid LLC. And now therefore be it resolved, the Medical Marijuana Commission finds that the total score for 3967 Euclid LLC in the Walton Boulevard Overlay District is 126 points out of 130 points. Okay. Okay, I need a move and second to approve the resolution.
I so move.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and second to approve the resolution. Roll call.
Pratt,
Approve.
Turpin,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Maley.
Yes.
Okay, been approved. Next item is to get a move and a second to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Support.
Okay, been moved and supported to adjourn. Roll call.
Turpin,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Maley,
Yes.
Pratt.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, we are officially adjourned at 6:38.
So do we take this out? What do we do? You're welcome. I'm just-
He hangs up, I just close.